Welcome to the Book Fair podcast. My name is Anthony, and this is Banned Books Week. The Bluest Eye by Toni Morrison is a 1970 novel that follows an 11-year-old girl named Pecola Breedlove. Pecola is seen as ugly throughout narration and other characters' comments. The author intentionally chose these descriptions as a catalyst for societal racism and contempt for black skin. It culminates internally with Pecola's desire, her one wish, to have blue eyes, like the white girls in her neighborhood and school. There are 3 different kinds of chapters throughout The Bluest Eye. The main ones being third person, following Pecola throughout the narrative or showing the history of other characters around her, like Mrs. Breedlove, her mother, or Soaphead Church, a pedophile that claims to have a spiritual connection to God, giving him psychic abilities. The second style is first person, told by Claudia, the youngest daughter of a family that fosters Pecola for a brief time. Claudia's chapters are showing an innocent bystander to Pecola's life, while still recognizing the hate other people are showing her due to her dark skin. Claudia is unable to articulate what makes Pecola ugly, while also showing her contempt for a half-black girl at school who is seen as pretty, contrasting the way Pecola is frequently described. Breaking up the distinct narrative sections of The Bluest Eye are short chapters in a third style that is used throughout the book that has surreal vignettes of an ideal white family. It starts as a prologue, then throughout the book there are short excerpts that break apart the text, repeat words or phrases, and break the syntax and rules of prose in a sporadic nature that reflects the breakdown of Pecola psychologically. Through the story, Pecola is treated poorly by even other black people, with the darkness of her skin being used to separate her from the rest of the community. Even within her family, she is an other. Through flashbacks about her family and other members of the town, readers are shown how racism has affected their lives and other lives of characters. Hate is a word Toni Morrison deliberately uses throughout, and it unfortunately becomes funneled down on young Pecola. In a graphic scene, it culminates in Pecola being raped by her father. While internally broken, Pecola shows little outward emotion after the event. She goes to the man Soaphead Church, asking to have blue eyes, which she believes to have been granted. In a heart-wrenching scene, Pecola talks to her own reflection, unable to truly acknowledge or recognize the abuse done to her by her father. Claudia narrates a closing section where Pecola is recognized for what she was, a victim. Not just of her father, but of the entire town. She was used as a scapegoat, putting off their own insecurities and hate on her to make themselves feel better or pretty by comparison. So why is The Bluest Eye banned? There is some strong language and a few use of racial slurs, though it shouldn't have to be mentioned that there are depictions of sex, nudity, and graphic scenes of abuse. The Bluest Eye falls into a common trap in fiction. Whenever a book is written with a child as the protagonist, it will sometimes be assumed to be written for children. Pecola is 11, and Claudia, the first-person narrator for many segments, is 9 years old. However, the book is intended for adult audiences. But should it be banned? Surprisingly, no. While this book does not belong in middle or elementary school libraries, it is essential for older students. Banning titles, in this case from high school curriculum, is censorship. High school seniors can use a novel like The Bluest Eye for lessons on literary analysis or to discuss difficult truths about internalized racism, sexual assault, or the failure of a community in protecting vulnerable people. Stories like The Bluest Eye also empower victims of abuse to speak up. There are harsh truths and uncomfortable conversations that we shouldn't censor just because someone is under the age of 18. The conversation around book bans is nuanced, with titles like The Bluest Eye being wrongly put in the category of children's literature. However, it should never be a conversation of the government making the decisions for school librarians. Tune in tomorrow for one final banned book. I'm Anthony. This has been the Book Fair Podcast. Thank you for listening.